The workplace may look different these days, but training exercises when it comes to public safety are more important than ever. We'll show you why.
Traffic deaths are up, including among bicyclists. We'll have some safety tips for kids, plus some simple ways to keep your holidays healthy.
I'm Trace Minarchuk.
I'm Kurt Friesen, and you're watching Lake Area Beat.
So how has life been treating you since the last time we were here?
Good. We've had some good department training. We're trying to get back to a little bit of normal, but also being very cautious of what's new and what reports are. How about you guys?
I've added more masks to my collection, and we're trying to do things normal too and take reports over the phone still, but trying to be smart about stuff.
Yep. It's been a busy election season, filled with anticipation.
Producer Mary Klein and photographer Nick Anderson spoke with Ramsey County's election manager this fall in the weeks leading up to it and discovered there was a big change in the way people voted.
We're averaging about 800 people here a day. We have 3 locations across the county that you can vote at and 10 that you can return your ballot at. We're seeing about 3,000 people a day between all these locations.
On a sunny afternoon in St. Paul, early voters arrive at this elections office to either return their mail-in ballot.
If you're doing drop-off, step to the left line. If you're voting in person, stand in this middle lane.
Or vote in person.
Very painless.
Ramsey County Elections Manager David Triplett says though the most obvious changes are the safety guidelines, the most dramatic change is the 3,000% increase in voting by mail.
Vote by mail has always been an option in Minnesota for at least the last 100 years, but a few years ago the legislature removed having to have an excuse to do that. And ever since that excuse has been removed, we have seen a dramatic increase every year of vote by mail. The pandemic has only accelerated that trend that we'd already seen.
Voters have 3 options: voting on election day at their polling place, in person beginning 46 days before an election in Ramsey County, or by mail. Triplett says more people are dropping off their mail ballots in person than previous elections.
I think voters just want to make sure their vote is counted, and the best way to do that is to drop it off here in person, and that's why we've provided 10 locations.
Triplett says it's important for people to return their mail-in ballots as quickly as possible. If there's an error, you want enough time to correct it. You can track your ballot online at mnvotes.org.
I'm getting a lot of questions. Are you ready for this big election? And we are. I want to let everybody in Ramsey County know if you want to vote, we've got a ballot here waiting for you. Whether you want to vote in person on election day, in person before election day, or through the mail, we've got a ballot here waiting for you.
The White Bear Lake Fire Department welcomed a live burn training exercise this fall in White Bear Township.
Here are some highlights.
They had different tasks every round, so every time we did one, they would rotate into a different task. Everything was done smooth, quick, efficient, so no complaints. It went really quick, so that's why we're burning down so early, because everything went really smooth on the setup and the training evolution, so now we're just letting it go.
How did it go?
It went very well. We had a good amount of the department participate and a lot of good evolutions, a lot of real scenarios we got to put the crews through. So a variety of things. Everything went really smooth. And then at the end, we got to let the house go, and we had a lot of people out watching. So I think it was a good experience for our firefighters, and the neighborhood got to come out and watch how things were done. So it was exciting. It was fun.
And it was a good day for it, wasn't it?
It was a nice day for it.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Coming up after the break.
We'll tell you about a White Bear Lake organization celebrating 50 years of service.
There's a chill in the air, and before you know it, the holidays will be here.
It's a scary thought, but true. We'd like to remind folks, first and foremost, watch what you're cooking. Everybody's in the kitchen during this time, so stay there when you have something on the stovetop.
It's also a good time to make sure your smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors are in good working condition. 3 out of 5 home fire deaths are in homes without smoke alarms.
Many people do a lot of decorating, so do it right. Go to the U.S. Fire Safety Administration's website for full details. And the holidays, it's 2020, people. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So be safe.
Right. Yeah, we're making a big push this year for kitchen fire safety. So making sure you're always in attending when you're cooking, or if you have to walk away because you're baking, set a timer so it reminds you to get back in that kitchen. A lot of unattended accidents happen.
Yep.
Making sure the area's clear where your heat sources are, and kids aren't running through. So a lot of good information on our website for cooking fires, and the NFPA as well. So just really making a push on those cooking fires this year.
Pay attention to what you're doing. Don't cook when you're sleepy. Don't stay up too late and cook.
Absolutely. If you listen closely to the next story, you'll hear some more safety advice from White Bear Lake Chief Greg Peterson.
He talked with our crew at the live burn site about the importance of training during COVID.
Because there's nothing like real fire. We can simulate it in training buildings, but it doesn't react the same, it doesn't look the same, it doesn't feel the same. The heat is different.
Just a few days after a live burn, we talked with Chief Greg Peterson at the site of the training exercise.
Whenever you go to sleep at night, make sure your bedroom door is closed, because it can literally save your life.
The fire extinguished, but the lessons remaining.
One of the firefighters, in talking with him, said, I started to go in and I realized I was going to the wrong spot because I could feel the heat off to the left. So I stopped and turned, and I knew that's where the fire was. You don't get that in a training facility.
Like many other organizations, the fire department has been operating differently these days, practicing social distancing and moving to Zoom-based meetings and instruction, something difficult for a team accustomed to working together.
It's not the same. None of us like it, but we're doing it for the sake of safety.
Peterson, interested in the chemistry of fires, says he's been a student his entire life, reading fire reports and trying to understand the nature of them.
Cement has got, it's moisture in it when it's first created, and then it'll pop. There's air pockets in there, and so if it gets really superheated, it'll pop or spall, as we call it. But it was rather impressive the other day that they were probably little areas that would blow up about 3 to 4 feet high, just bang.
In the beginning days of COVID, the department saw an increase in accidental fire calls due to an increase in people staying home.
We had a firefighter that actually rescued a woman that left a pan on the stove by accident. And
It's why training is essential, and at a time when things are far from normal, gathering in person, if only for a few hours, provides some camaraderie the department has been craving.
we said, yeah, we're going to do the best we can to protect everybody, but it was a godsend to have the ability to do this because we don't usually get together, and so it was good to see everybody and interact with everybody and work together, like we're used to doing. And we do on emergency calls, but we're used to doing that on a regular basis. So this worked out really well.
White Bear Lake Historical Society is celebrating 50 years of service to the community.
Prior to the official celebration, we talked with Executive Director Sarah Hansen about how they had to shift gears to deal with the pandemic.
It's been interesting. In a lot of ways, it's been a blessing.
During a year when the White Bear Lake Historical Society celebrates 50 years in operation, it's making history by departing from convention.
Over the anniversary weekend, we have from the 25th to the 27th, we have 50 hours of different segments. So one released each hour, 50 different topics on local history or how to preserve your photographs or the Philip Brown House or whatever. Some are live, some are pre-recorded, and they certainly aren't the comprehensive history of the area, but they're little snippets of each, many of the different things that are out there.
If it sounds ambitious, it is. But the planning committee was forced to change their course of action due to COVID. Paths typically traveled, like a tour of the Philip Brown House on Lake Avenue, must be done virtually.
We will be on site for a few of the segments. We'll actually be doing an interactive tour of the Philip Brown, where almost like a Facebook Live or a chat kind of thing, where we can be in the house. We'll start the regular tour, and then as we go, people can ask questions like they would if they were on the tour.
Sarah Hansen, Executive Director of the White Bear Lake Historical Society, says although there's a lot of technical elements involved in a virtual celebration, their goal is to make it simple.
It's all based off of our website. So what we'll be doing is actually recording things on Zoom or launching them on Zoom and then broadcasting them out through YouTube and our Facebook page. And so you can hit it through Facebook, you can Google, or you can search for things on YouTube if you want, but you can simply go to our website, which is whitebearhistory.org. There'll be a big banner that you can click on for the 50th, and then you click on whichever story you want to hear.
Though participants will miss out on the sensory experience of an in-person tour, Hansen says one advantage of being virtual is reaching a broader audience. And since the Philip Brown House has been closed this year, the Historical Society is hoping to raise $50,000 to offset lost revenue, as well as accommodate changes in an uncertain climate, hoping to ensure another 50 years of historical preservation.
There's just a really solid sense of place to White Bear and the area all around the lake. I mean, not just White Bear proper, if you will, but just this community as a whole. There's a sense of pride, there's a sense of place. I think that's typical in Minnesota in general, but we're sort of like the epitome of it here in White Bear, for better or worse. we have all the bear statues, all the decals, all the other things, and we help celebrate that through the different programming we do.
They've exceeded their fundraising goal of $50,000 they set for the anniversary.
Great work, guys. If you'd like to make a donation, they make it easy. You can donate right online.
Traffic deaths are up this year, and among them, bicyclists.
Detective Hook teamed up with Jameson to show us the basics when it comes to bike safety.
This is what we call our ABCs, and we check the air in the tires, make sure those tires are pumped up to the maximum that they can go. This is to prevent pinches in the inner tube, and therefore you'll get flats. The other thing we want to do is check our brakes, make sure that the brakes on the bike are working. We have a real simple rule, it's called the rule of thumb, making sure that the gap between the handle here and the brake handle is no more than a thumb width distance to the handle. So if you can fit your thumb in there, then there's probably enough pressure, distance on the brake there to make sure that those are working. That's really important. If they come all the way, then they're probably not working properly. So make sure those are adjusted. The other thing, obviously, we're going to check our chain, okay, and make sure that the chain is and the running gear is working properly before we go for a ride. Helmet may save a child's life. I think there was an incident last year where a child was run over by a mail truck inadvertently, and the helmet did save the child's life because the wheel did go over the helmet. So again, making sure that it's an approved brand, an approved safety brand, and there should be about a finger's gap in this. This one's probably a little bit loose on Jameson, so we could tighten that up a little bit, make sure it's not going to slip off if it was in an accident situation. So another thing to consider too with our children, they're generally smaller, they may not sit up as high on the roadway, so for adults driving vehicles, we have a lot of distracted driving, even with our hands-free laws. A lot of people are not paying attention when they're driving. They're talking on the phone, they're looking at their phones, they're adjusting the radio, they're thinking about other things. Make sure your children are wearing bright colored clothing, reflective items if you can. But one thing to remember too, that a lot of our kids now with the hours of light starting to reduce as we move into the fall, a lot of kids are biking at night. It's getting darker, very hard for the cyclists to be seen. Making sure we have our reflectors as a minimum for day, that's fine. But if we are riding at night, we do need to have either a steady white light at the front. It needs to project up to about 500 feet. Same with the rear, either a flashing red or a stable red light. Again, same sort of lumosity, needs to be up to between 100 and 600 feet. We see a lot of kids just out there riding around, and it's very easy to forget that so they need to understand the road rules for safety on that road. So behind us is a stop sign. I would expect a bike to come to a complete stop. A lot of people don't, but it's very important that cars and bikes are behaving in the same way so that it's not inconsistency. So when Jameson would be riding up towards the stop sign here, he would come to a complete stop just as if he was driving a car, which he's not able to do at this time in his life. And then he would have to signal left or right. Obviously, real basic signals, just using that hand signal to delineate which way I'm going to go so that the traffic is understanding of that. A lot of people like to walk against the traffic when they are walking down the road, which is fine. As a pedestrian, you can do that because then you can see the traffic coming at you. I know a lot of people are advocates of doing the same thing with bikes, and technically that is not something you should do. The law requires that bikes should be going the same way with the traffic, and it's really important because then the drivers aren't surprised by things coming at them. Be really careful when you're driving around children that you see them and give them appropriate distance, because even if you see them, they may not see you. Really, really important that we give them that space and recognize as children, they may have varying levels of skill with their bike. They may not have confidence with their bike, and a car coming near them may be unsettling. So give them extra room to make sure that they have that space. It's typically about 3 feet. Bikes get stolen all the time around town. Dozens and dozens of bikes. Our CSOs regularly pick them up from places where they've been left, dumped, found, stolen. So having a bike lock, making sure it's locked on the frame, not just on the wheel, but you can actually, if you're depending on the size of the bike lock, you might be able to snake it through the frame, through the front wheel, and then around something secure. I hope you have a good school year. Good luck, all the best, and we want you to be safe out there. Obviously, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to the police department. Thanks, guys.
We'd like to mention if you ever have questions on any of the topics we covered here, you can contact Tracy personally.
No, that's not true. Actually, you can connect with both departments for more information. Coming up after the break,
our crew takes a walk with a council member determined to do things differently.
November is Hunger Awareness Month, and White Bear Lake has a valuable resource helping thousands of families in need.
The White Bear Lake Area Food Shelf provides more than just food for those struggling. It provides a sense of community. Take a look.
Hi, welcome to the White Bear Food Shelf.
Thanks, glad to be here.
One of our goals here at the Food Shelf is to kind of take down barriers that that have people not be able to access food. A lot of times the hardest thing for somebody is to walk through that door, and you'll hear about that, you'll see that of people that are in the parking lot sitting there in their car for half an hour, 45 minutes, just debating if they're gonna make that first step towards the food shelf.
It's very humbling because everyone that comes through the door has a story. Some people share them and we're able to kind of just be taken aback, and a lot of people are very private about it. And so you sometimes get very exhausted, but you realize that at the end of the day, it's a really important and wonderful work, and it's a gift to be able to help.
No two stories are the same. Every neighbor or family that visits our food shelf, everyone's here for a different reason. And so we're here for neighbors and families as long as they need us.
Kowalski's gives us some of the nicest stuff.
I know, isn't that delicious?
Oh,
We have a great team of volunteers that continually just have heart for people and want to support them and realize that there's a lot of different reasons why people show up at our door, and just want to make sure that we're not here about the reasons, we're here about providing food.
We're, again, neighbor-centric, so it's not necessarily a food shelf user or volunteer. We're all neighbors helping neighbors. So maybe someone's here using the food shelf now because they need the support, and later on they're able to give back to the food shelf, whether that's through donations or they're giving of their time as a volunteer.
Things will be done differently beginning November 2nd due to COVID-19. They will have curbside pickup rather than the drive-through, and you can find all the information online, as well as make a donation.
If you're looking for gifts this holiday season while going eco-friendly, there's a store in White Bear Lake you may be interested in checking out.
It is sometimes challenging, but it's also fun.
For some folks, working with your spouse is something to be avoided. But for Jordan and Alex Akins,
we're all in this together.
Yes.
That's the other thing.
It comes as naturally as their mission to make change.
We went on a trip together and saw a lot of trash on the beach. And that's when I first introduced Jordan and opened her eyes about this too, that the trash that we put out here in our bins could actually end up being washed ashore again.
They spent their time on the beach picking up trash instead of seashells, and it sparked their passion to embark on an eco-friendly journey, starting their business Bamboo Switch in late 2018.
Our shirts are made of bamboo material. Most of the products are here made of bamboo. People made hardwood floors out of them. So it's a really cool material, and it's super strong, and it also is completely compostable, which is the best part.
With a strong online presence, they opened a retail space in White Bear Lake where customers can pick up orders.
Really good.
Yes.
Awesome. I should take a look around too.
Shop their products and learn how to make realistic and sustainable changes, focusing on alternatives to plastic.
Knowing people are becoming more aware is what we're all here for, because we love educating people about what they can do with simple steps in their own life.
Whether the pandemic or the timely topic of climate change, their online sales have more than doubled in the last several months, customers ranging in age from the very young to 95 years old.
Even little 4 or 5-year-olds that will come in here or will come to our show booths and stuff, and they're so excited about colorful bamboo toothbrushes.
With everything from hair care to dental hygiene, Bamboo Switch is in 50 stores locally and 150 nationwide, taking care in who they partner with, combining quality and affordability into all of their products.
So you'll see most of the store is going to mimic our online store presence, because everything is organized into uses.
And with partnerships on the horizon for next year, they're hoping to blaze a path to a brighter tomorrow for all.
when we found out we were pregnant with our son, we had to think about what are we going to do for his future and for the future of other generations too, as well as our own.
You can find Bamboo Switch downtown or online. Producer Mary Klein and photographer Nick Anderson recently took a walk with White Bear Lake Councilmember Dan Jones.
He's been lending his artistry to signage in the city, and it's drawing a lot of attention. Get it? Drawing a lot. Anyway, here's the story.
And that's the key to city council. Once that decision's been made, whether you agree or disagree, you need to support it.
During his 13 years on city council, Dan Jones has come to accept defeat while celebrating victories. Perhaps a skill he learned while playing football at the University of Minnesota.
I know I'm going to go play for the Gophers. I'm a total homer White Bear.
With a resume of volunteerism as lengthy as his stride, Jones says his mother, active in local politics and community when he was growing up, ignited his passion to serve.
Trying to give back as best you can, no matter what you have. You always can.
A husband and father of 3 daughters, he's found a way to give more than his time, but his talent too. Inspired by former art teacher Frank Zeller, Jones's lifelong passion for art is reflected throughout the city.
All the darker pieces do represent the depth of the lakes.
He's been the creative force and artist behind the social distance bears, bathroom signs, Regrow White Bear Lake, and most noticeably, the water tower greeting travelers on the interstate. All stemming from the need, he says, to do things differently.
That's what's been so awesome, is that the city staff and city council has been said, let's do something different. Let's be creative. Let's not do the same old governmental agency mode. And that's what I appreciate. That's what's been fun.
Jones volunteers with the Historical Society, combining his love of history and art, redesigning their logo and producing a video tour of White Bear Lake.
There's so much history right here, it's staggering. Like, this is just awesome. I'm sorry, I gotta stop. I'm just seeing people, there's folks riding their bikes, love the seniors out on that. Yeah. This is what's so awesome about the trail.
Spending some time with Jones, you learn quickly he loves the city where he was born and raised, and left and returned. Grateful for its people and their outpouring of support after his daughter sustained a brain injury in 2016.
Our downtown is really doing great. And that's thanks to a lot of hard work from the Main Street organization, Market Fest, all the business owners and the city. We've worked a lot.
It's why he remains in service, believing there's still work to be done and that every person in the city has a voice.
You have to have thick skin, and more importantly, you have to respect other people's opinions. That's the key, and that's what's timely topic today about politics, is that if you can't respect someone else's opinion, you shouldn't be doing the job.
Before we go, we'd like to take this opportunity to recognize the men and women who have bravely served our country.
Thank you to all veterans, living and dead, for the sacrifices you've made, and to you, the viewers. Thank you for watching.